Okay, so welcome back to DeepPavlov Community Call. It's the second one. It's a very crazy experience for us. We are doing it the second time. We're also doing second time in October. But moving forward, it will be happening only once in a week, every last Thursday of the month at 8 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. MSK. And every time we will talk about what's new at DeepPavlov. We will show demos of our latest tech. And you will guys have a chance to ask us questions and provide your feedback so that we could use that feedback to better define and better align our priorities with what's needed for the next year. With that, I would like to first of all share with you what's new. Since last call, we published the roadmap. We promised to publish this roadmap, and we've done that. That's good news. The bad news, we've just published it earlier today. So technically, we published it before the end of October and prior to this community call. But I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to take a look at it. Let me know in the system. You can, raise a hand if you've managed to see the roadmap. If not, if you have seen it or got a link, let me know. What? Misha and Fede, you haven't seen our roadmap? Guys, you helped me to write it. Okay. Anyway, so there is a roadmap. I will share a link with you. Give me a second. Product roadmap. And now I realize that we have a lot of stuff going on, So this roadmap is for the end of this year. And we've got some stuff for the next one, too. Give me a sec. I'm uploading the link. I think it should be something like this. bit.ly DP roadmap 2020. Try to open it and let me know if it works or not for you. I mean, the link itself. The next big thing is, as we promised last time, we are working on integrating about our goal-oriented framework with DeepPavlov Dream. And we've achieved the first time earlier this week. It's not yet ready for everyday use. Cool. But it's something that we are going to share with you in the coming weeks, and it's really cool. Another thing that we've done is we refactored our knowledge-based question answering system into 3 services, and we're testing this kind of stuff now, and I will show some of those things just in the next few minutes. I mean, okay, later today, but still today. There is a cool stuff cooking. As I said before, we have 2 workshops. One of them will be happening later today at 10:45 a.m. at Pacific time in ODC West conference. Another one will be happening next Tuesday at 8 p.m. MSK and ML Conference EU 2020. And in both of those workshops, we will be talking about 3 things. In addition to DeepPavlov Dream itself, we'll be talking about Gobot, we'll be talking about entity linking, as well as intent catcher demos. With that kind of stuff, I think I can go straight to the demos because we won't have a second speaker today. So before we will take a look at factoid, I first would like to remind you what kind of stuff we are talking about. And the first thing is we've built a demo called DP 3000. Some of you folks, as far as I know, managed to get it up and running on their computers. And nodding. It's nice to see you nodding, Alex. Thank you. So the demo is simple. It shows you how you can combine 2 different skills. One is chit chat and second is goal-oriented one. Combine them together to build a multi-skill AI assistant. The idea was that we could emulate Gertie from the Moon movie, and the whole thing is like several intents for harvesters, their status, and so on. And also a lightweight conversation on a chit chat kind of stuff about different things like who created the system, where the user is, and so on. And without further ado, let me show you the architecture and then the demo. And then we will go to the new stuff. So speaking of the architecture, just to remind you, it's pretty simple. It was a bare bones demo. Not the most bare bones one, but very close to it. We had input enabled through text or through voice input, powered by Nemo ASR. Then we've sent text to spell checking. Then we sent it to built-in skill selector, which sent annotated user input to both skills we had in the demo, which is harvesters, maintenance status skill, and chit chat skill. Then information from both of those things, both of those skills as a response is sent to candidate annotator called emotion analysis in this case. And then these annotated candidates are sent to our custom rule-based response selector, which uses confidences of those components to provide response to the system, to the user. And then this response is shown back to the user and is also can be pronounced by TTS. So that's the example architecture. And let's take a look how the whole thing is working. I will briefly stop sharing the screen. Oh, by the way, I was sharing the entire screen, so it's not a big deal. So let me do it this way. I'm showing DP. And I also bring the console. Let me make it a little bit smaller. And of course, because we live in a great world of stable network connections, we have to reconnect to the demo. And let me connect to the agent. Agent is already connected, already started, so we are just now seeing the output from Docker Compose. Okay, so let's try out a few demos. So originally we had a few things. So first of them was this. Where am I? Oh my God, we need to reboot the machine. Why? Okay, that's another case when you show the live demo and then things don't work. Let me try again. I have a bad feeling about this. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Docker Compose demo. It's working. Let's try it out again. Where am I? And in the engine, we can see the whole process.
You are in the infirmary in the Moonbase A.I.
Cool. So the next question is, I'm tired, for example. It will also come from chit chat.
Get some sleep, Sam. You are very tired.
It will come from a chit chat skill. Now, if you will ask for harvester, for example, what is the status of harvesters?
Here's what Wikipedia says. All paint.
Nice. So, okay, this is interesting. So let's rephrase it a little bit. What is the status of harvester 2?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Very cool. So as you can imagine, there is actually a third skill available now called factoid. And because this component is up and running, it might interfere with the system. And that's a live demo. That's nice. Let me try to do the following. Maintenance skill. No, it's up and running. Let me do one more thing. Let me disable factoid for the time being. Okay, that's the most funny way to show a demo. What the hell is going on? Right, we can't connect. We can't disconnect because it's not a part of the Docker of the local Docker compose system. Let's ask it once again, but I'm not sure if it's going to work.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Nice. Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated demo than the one we used to have before. So there might be situations where you have to write your own rule-based response selector in order to get the best answer at each moment, which is actually a good example of the whole concept of multi-skill AI assistance. Here in MC, in Midnight Commander, you can see that we have just like, we have like 3 skills. Pipeline conf. Look at this. So we have 3 skills here. Originally we had 2, but we've added a third one that we will show just in a minute. And the first one is Harvester's maintenance skill. The second is Bragger Y, which is our chit-chat skill. And the third one is Factoid QA. And there are just 3 of them. And when we had just 2 of those skills, we can actually do something cool. Give me a second. I know what we can do. We can go edit the file, and we can do it even better. We do it this way. Factoid agent. We can do F5, and we can call this as pipeline conf small. Now, for example, big JSON. Now, when we will go to this file and we will edit it, we will remove the skill from the system. This is how you can see. This is how you can see is the whole pipeline configured. So you add components you want to the system, and you edit this file. And by adding lines to this file, you can effectively configure the entire pipeline. I didn't make a mistake. Okay. Now, 10. We will stop agent. Wow, you're showing the real life demo. That's really nice. At least I hope that it's really nice. Now we will build agent again. And when we build the agent, it's an interesting thing. The agent itself is grabbed from our repository on GitHub. So when we're rebuilding it, we're just saying it to grab actual configuration from the folder agent in the demos. Okay, my bad. That's the wrong folder. Actually, no, it's not. But if anybody wants to say something, feel free to say it. like Misha, Fedia, go ahead. It'll take a few more seconds to fix things. Docker compose, op agent, and now we already started build agent. Now we can run the agent again. Let's ask a question about harvesters once again and see what's going on. Connection with the server could not be established. That's why I'm wrong. It should do the same. Yeah, it should do the same. And no faces, nobody's saying anything. Come on, tell me something.
Okay, I have a camera on, and well, it's not that I would like to say or tell something to the community, but I have a question about the Docker thing. We see that Daniel is now having sort of Docker stuff happening on the screen, and since I'm developing a sort of a part of a library that is dedicated to Docker work, I just would like to know whether someone in a community uses Docker in their enterprise life, or they would like to integrate some Docker stuff into something built on top of DeepPavlov or DP agent, because it would be nice to know some interesting cases that you would like to involve. Does anybody have Docker involved into their everyday pipeline? Do I have my microphone on?
You have, trust me.
Okay.
This is
nobody has Docker as a part of the everyday file pipeline.
This is actually a funny thing. We use Docker Compose all the time. It really helps. Alex, hi, nice to see you. Glad to see you joining us.
I was here. I was just like everybody, most of everybody else, behind the screen.
Right.
I know by the way why I didn't answer on your question about harvester status. It is very sensitive at the moment. I tested it yesterday several times. Build it, opted, canceled. I mean, deleted everything. Build it again. The thing is that if you ask the question, what is the harvester's status, harvester 2 status, it will answer you. What is the status of harvester 2? It will not. It's like you tell it, I am tired.
I have an answer for that.
Yes, you will tell it, I am tired. It will give you the phrase that go sleep. You tell it, I feel tired, and it will say, I don't understand what you mean.
I have an answer for that.
Try harvester status. What is the harvester status? Change the word order.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Well, now it doesn't. Yeah, so it changed its mind. Yeah, so good.
I'm pretty sure actually that that's there is a better reason behind this, but it's really funny.
But that's what I discovered. It's really sensitive. It was sensitive. I formulated 2 questions several times with slightly different word order. On one it answers, on the other it doesn't recognize it.
That's because we used a very simple demo, and our very simple demo of goal-oriented skill, we didn't use any serious word
we probably should move to a bag of words like Alex suggested. Then it won't make any difference for the program. Status of harvesters.
No, I mean, I know what kind of things happening. It feels like there is a mistake in configuration. That's what I'm trying to say. This is not about the way how you talk to harvesters. I think I've messed up with the configuration. And this is interesting because while I really messed up with the configuration, we can try it out. We can try to fix it in the real time. and you can experience what we experienced when we were building our DeepPavlov.ai demo. So it's not that bad. So let's go to agent. Let's go to pipeline conf and try to look at what's going on here. So we have two skills. One of them is program Y. A second is harvester maintenance skill. It is available as 3002, and it is here. But as you can see, when we looked at the agent, this is not the agent. This is Nemo, and this is a harvester maintenance skill, and this is harvester maintenance skill again. So we have too many of them. So let's rename those things. This is the goal. This is the harvester's skill. This is not agent. This is actually Nemo. So we don't really need it. We can leave it. We have agent. This is where we have agent. So, folks, in the end of the day, you're gonna get not just experience of how our demos work, but how we debug a multi-skill conversational AI system. So probably it's going to be even more useful than just a demo of our stuff. Now, here we have MC. Here we have Nemo. But Nemo, we already had Nemo. So let's connect once again. And let's see what's happening. So we have MC and we know where it goes. Let's go now to the demo again. This is our factoid demo. And open Midnight Commander again. And let's go to our Docker Compose. And in Docker Compose, we know that our harvester's maintenance skill is available in the folder skills, harvester's maintenance skill, and it's on port 3002. Which is good. And if we leave this place and leave this place again, oh, sorry. And if we will go here in the folder skills, we actually have harvester's maintenance skill. Here we go. So it's here. And as we looked before, when we went to the agent, we know that in skills, we've written down that there is a harvester's maintenance skill. We've written down the right name, harvester's maintenance. Oh, that's the error. That's the error. That's, oh, fuck. Okay, kids didn't have to listen to me at this moment. Let's go again. So that's very easy. And this is where the mistake is. I've changed the name of the component, but I didn't change the name of the URI. You can see that. So this is an important lesson. And the lesson is when you add components to the DeepPavlov agent pipeline, you have to write down the name of the components or the containers from Docker Compose into this area of the URL. And the name you put here may be the same, and useful to have the same name, but it doesn't have any influence on what kind of container we're actually interacting. Because one of the containers, like factoid container that we interacted with before, it was actually running not here, it was running in another installation on another computer. So that's a funny thing here. I will not actually save changes here. Instead, I will do the following. So I will delete the file. I will F5 it again and call it pipeline conf.json. And oh my God, I've done it wrong way. My bad. And right. And here I will edit, and we'll try to see. We will try out the whole thing with factoid class too, because it should work. So this is our file. We go here. We fix the name of the component of the container in Docker. We save the whole thing. Then we go to the agent tab. We stop it. And we build it again. And let's save us some time. Build. And here we go. Okay, let's try the whole thing out once again. What is harvester status? Let's see what's going to happen.
Of 4 harvesters, harvester 4
Here
is
we go.
full, harvester 2 is working. Harvester 1 is awaiting repairs. Harvester 3 is inactive.
So this is interesting. As we can see, now 3 different skills are running in the real time. They're working at the same time. I mean, not in real time, but in the same time. And we still use confidence of those skills as the only reason for the system to pick the best response. And it works. And as I said before, when we said things like I'm tired or let's try it, I'm super tired. Not sure it's going to work. Alec,
it won't.
Yeah, I don't understand me because, and there is a good reason.
Yeah.
There's a good reason.
Get some sleep, Sam.
You tell it, I feel tired, you will get the same response.
And this is fine. This is fine. We will come back to that thing too, because we have a response what to do in this case. So this was the idea of the original demo, that we had 2 skills: intent, a goal-oriented skill, and chit-chat skill. Now let's go back to the slides and then go straight to the factoid class. So when we wanted to add factoid skill, there was a simple reason for that. We had one of the folks in our Telegram group asking us how to integrate factoid into DeepPavlov Dream demo. And we decided to do just that. This was actually one of the challenges we had after completing our participation in Alexa Prize Challenge of this year. And we didn't have a Q&A skill that during the competition was provided by Amazon. So we had to write our own. One of the members of our team, Dima Yevseyev, he had written a component called KBQA. This component is doing the following. So it has 3 things. It has wiki parser, it has entity linking, and then it has KBQA itself. Wiki parser allows us to either download Wikidata or interact with Wikidata in the online way, where you interact with wikidata.org website with their APIs. In the essence, it provides you a Sparkle endpoint which you can interact with to query the knowledge graph. Entity linking is the second component. You provided a sub-sentence with the entity of interest, and it will tell you which kind of objects from the knowledge graph are actually mentioned in the subphrase. Finally, the third component is KBQA itself. It has a relatively large number of templates that are matched with what you say, and then those templates and entity linking they work in the opposite order. First, entity linking finds the entities that are mentioned in the user's query. Then, using those entities, system finds the most appropriate templates and transforms the original phrase into Sparkle query that then goes against Wikidata parser and then provides you a response from Wikidata. To include KBQA into the system, we had to do several things. We had to bring near sentence rewrite, sentence segmentation, and factoid classification as annotators to the system. I showed them in red. And we also had to bring our factoid Q&A skill. Let me show you how this skill works. I will try to show it. I think I have a window somewhere with it. And if I don't have the demo, don't have the window, I will open the window. Give me a second. In general, factoid skill went through several processes, several steps in development. So it's quite a complicated one. But in the end, it's not really that different from our goal-oriented skill. And you can see that in a minute.
Sorry, a question.
Go ahead.
How? I understand. Okay, so it kind of, when you ask a question, and it has several skills. First, it asserts which skill it could be, then generates answer in each skill in parallel. If there are a lot of skills, it's like parallel kind of computation. Yeah?
Yes.
With some confidences as well.
Right.
But imagine you ask some question which like, how does it know? In short, imagine I ask a question, what about harvesters?
Right.
It can answer me, okay, harvester is, and quote me Wikidata. Or it can tell me the status of harvesters.
Excellent question.
Probably there should be some priority because harvesters is always about harvesters. It's about the status. Something
I
like
love
that.
this question. I love this question.
Unless I put some keyword like, tell me what is harvester according to Wikidata, something like that. Yeah.
Oh my
keyword.
God. Look, this is a great question. And this is precisely why the whole DeepPavlov agent exists. It exists because you can't use just confidence to make an appropriate decision which skill to invoke and then which response to pick. We had a conversation in our team several times where if you have very smart skills that know precisely what to answer, and they precisely know when they have relevant response, when they don't, then we could rely upon very primitive rule-based response selector, which would just pick the confidence. But in practice, it doesn't work. So in practice, and I will show you that thing too, we actually built a more complicated rule-based response selector, which used a number of different annotations, like speech acts, and different topics and intent recognition to aid in finding out if the response that we picked was the best one. So, okay, let me show our factoid class. This is the server. It's very similar to the one we've got in our demo for goal-oriented skill. We also we also created this respond API endpoint. It's also a post method. We also get dialogues. We get the entire dialogue with the user. And we also grab a human utterance from the dialogue. Now, the difference is that we go and talk to QBQA service, which is get QBQA response. And for that, we go to QBQA service here. So we go to QBQA URL, and we do a post request with just one parameter where we put the entire user sentence here. And when we get the response, we just send it back to the system with a confidence. And then this information is sent back to the system. And then we provide this response back to DeepPavlov agent. And then DeepPavlov agent brings this response along with other responses from other skills to response selector. And then response selector picks the best response and provides it back to the user. So this is how the factoid class actually looks like. We will create a small, lightweight version of this class for you to experiment with. And we actually will share the entire demo with you as well as write down a blog post showing you examples on how to use the whole thing. But for now, let's come back to the slide and let's do the demo thing itself. So now that we have a working system, and remember we have factoid skill tirelessly answering to all the human utterances, even without giving any responses. And let's ask something that will be exactly what Alexei asked, where we have to do this migration. It's interesting that in small cases, this migration will work. Look. So let's ask the following question. Where am I? As Alexei knows, we will get an answer from chit-chat.
You are in the infirmary in the Moonbase Surin.
Right? So this seems to be a very simple solution. Now,
Try asking like where I am, please, or where am I, please.
No. This is not the point of this particular demo. Not the point of this demo. We will talk about this in a few more minutes. Now let's ask another question. Where are Microsoft headquarters? And Misha, don't worry, I will ask about Sberbank in a minute.
It is what it is, or is it, here we go, Redmond?
So Redmond, okay, let's ask the same question about Sberbank. Where is Sberbank? Wow, I look at Alex's eyes and I see
Russia.
How he's terrified with getting the answer to this crazy and curious question.
Ask him where is Evil Corp headquarters. Well, it should know basically. It's in factoid, a popular movie.
Let's try it out. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Wikidio says that Tokushima.
Wow. Okay, so I've learned something new from our TBQA today. It feels really good.
So funny enough, that makes sense. It was Tokushima power plant in Washington State or something in the movie.
Evil corporation. We don't know which particular evil corporation we're talking about. Anyways, let's ask one more thing. Who created Windows? Now, this is a proper TBQA question.
Wikipedia says that Microsoft.
Good. Now, let's ask one more question. Who created you?
A company inspired by lunar industries. With better ethics, though.
It's obviously the us. DeepPavlov. Okay. The funny thing is why this happens. Why when we get a factoid question, we get a response from factoid. And when we get a question that looks like factoid, but is related to the user or to the system, to the scenarios, we get response from scenarios. The reason is simple. Factoid skills gives a little bit smaller confidence compared to other skills. Here we can see it. So the confidence can be default confidence. One of the cases might be a default confidence. It's not here, it's hidden in the TBQA response. But that confidence is lower than for factoid questions for other skills that we have. And now that's the right question. What will happen when we'll have a conflict? So I will show you just a very quick glimpse I will give a very quick glimpse at how our response selector in the actual demo of demo.deepavlov.ai looks like. So this is the number of skills we have. This is the response selector. This is the one we use. This is our server.py. And here we go. So we got a lot of data, like hypotheses from the system. We analyze bot utterances, human utterances. We look at toxicity and other things before making the decision. Now let's scroll down. This is it. Select response. So we look at a variety of different components in the system. We try to figure out if some of the users' queries can be
On your calendar, dinner starts in 15.
Can be answered by something by the rules here below. For example, I don't know what can be a good example. User wants to talk about a topic, utterances users wants to ask. This is based on the confidence. So for example, I don't know what is interesting. Factoid, misheard, program wine, rabbit. I don't know what's the most interesting example here. So, for example, we have program Y. Program Y is a larger chit-chat skill that we have in the system. And we wonder that if a skill is from program Y, and it's actually corresponding to a greeting specification, which is, what the hell? Go to references. Go to definition. And this is a DeepPavlov Dream AI system demo. Then in this case, we can change the confidence of the system. Say that the current score is a very big score, and then we will try to get a response from program Y. And this is important because in the beginning, we want to be sure that in most cases, our response from the system is coming from program Y, and it is a greeting to the user. So I'm not writing down that we have to greet user with a particular answer, but in many cases, greeting might come from program Y, and we try to boost its rating to a very high score to make sure that this answer will be picked up by the system. There are actually other cases. For example, some of the skills might give the same answer every time, and we want to remove repeatability from the answers. So in this case, we will force the system to provide a different response to the user. And it might be useful when a skill is simple, but if it is goal-oriented, sometimes users want to repeat the answer, and that's a problem. So we have to write workarounds for that as well. So in the end, the response selector you have will have to be not just based on confidence. You have to detect and define and refine heuristics that will pick the best response at every single time. Okay, so this was the demo of factoid skill. And in case we still have no chance to show other demos, to have other talks, stuff to talk about, I can show you one more demo of intent catcher. Do you want to see that, or do you want to ask questions, folks?
A question, maybe, what do you think? Maybe it makes sense for, as it is not a general chit-chat bot, right, or DP, but somebody wants really to have a voice assistant for some business.
Okay.
You have kind of feature where the user can specify immediately the skill he wants, like question about harvesters or something, like a keyword. And then it will not even try to engage other skills, just go directly to the skill mentioned.
Yeah, good question.
Then it will have no, imagine I don't really need to chat, I just need immediately the status of my credit card, and it's a credit card status or something.
Excellent question, excellent question. We also have a solution for that. This is called skill selector. Let me first of all go back to our slides, just to give a perspective. So as you can see, there is a built-in skill selector here. Skill selector picks the response from user and tries to identify which of particular skills have to generate the response. By default, if you don't specify your own skill selector, the entire system, the entire set of skills will be invoked at every single user's utterance. But you can always override this. For example, you can add an intent catcher to the system. You can add an intent catcher to the annotators, and then you can use those high-level intents to decide which skill actually has to be invoked. And I can give an example here, not in this demo, but in another part of a demo. First, let me show you the web browser. Let me go to demo.deepavlov.ai. And agree with the thing. Let me say hi. And let me do something. Get dialog ID. As you can see, the dialog ID is, and it gives me the dialog ID. How does it happen? It can be an intent. It can be. But it doesn't have to be. Let me show you how we've done this kind of thing. It might be seen as a workaround, but sometimes those rules can be really, really useful. So let's go to skill selectors and let's go to our skill selector. And here is an example. If get down like ideas in user utterance text, we add, this is actually a small workaround, but we say skill for utterance append intent responder. So if you want to have more control over the system, you can override default skill selector, implement your own one. Here it is implemented as a connector.py file. And in it, you can specify rules that define which skills have to give an answer. The same goes here. For example, high priority intent detected. We also then we ask system to get response from another skill called intent responder. And the same goes for other things as well. It can be, for example, if you detect that the conversation with user currently is all about news, then we invoke news API skill. So with every single step, we decide which skills are best suited to provide a response to the user. And we never try to invoke all of the skills. Here, we have about 30 skills. And in the real world, it can be hundreds, thousands of skills in the system. And obviously, don't want to always run all of them. I hope that gave you a perspective on how this can be solved.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We actually have a question from the audience. Can it be used with a custom knowledge base? Not right now, because we did not support any kind of generic knowledge base yet. But two things. First, our code is open source, so you can grab it and try it out on your own, at your own pace. Second, we have in plans supporting other custom knowledge bases. One of them might be soon how do I think, or WikiHow, wikihow.com. They have fantastic set of articles, structured articles on different topics. And one of our goals is to add support for this knowledge base. And then we will focus on supporting custom knowledge bases. So you don't have to depend only on Wikidata to get the benefits of entity linking and so on. Actually, if you ask me about custom knowledge base, I have another demo. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be Postman. Yeah, I hope it's the right one. And forgive my computer, it really stressed out because of all stuff we ask the system. So we have entity linking component. Right now it's connected to Wikidata. And let us ask a question. Give a substring. Where is Burbank? Where is Doctor Who? And entity linking is, as I said before, is one of the components of our Cubic-based system. What it does, it detects the entity. We see here the entity is Doctor Who. And for it, it tells you which particular objects in the Wikidata actually correspond to it. Let's try it out. Wikidata.
But by the way, you know the ideal answer to where is Doctor Who question. You should answer Doctor Who.
That's how I don't know. I don't care actually I don't care about the answer. And I didn't even watch Doctor Who. I tried a couple times. Daleks were too crazy.
It's like a meme in Doctor Who universe. So people ask Doctor, where is Doctor Who, and somebody responds Doctor Who, like what doctor?
Right, right. My bad.
So it should be like an answer which is like like catchphrase.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. So here you can see that it not only can give us IDs of objects, but it can also give you the types of objects. We specifically run a query to Wikidata to get another element of their knowledge graph to get information about the instance of. And obviously, you can do the same thing with Wikidata API to grab other pieces of the puzzle as you please. And come back to the question from the audience. The same can be done in principle with any kind of knowledge graph, and specifically ones that support Sparkle queries. Obviously, those that support Sparkle query input are easier to support than other things. Okay, so I wanted to show you the third demo, and the third demo was our intent catcher. Intent catcher is an interesting beast. Intent catcher, where are you? Where are you in this big world, my dear intent catcher? Yes. So let me give you perspective. Exactly when you are in one of the two situations, one of them is you want to define intents in your goal-oriented skill, or if you want to build an AI assistant which is full of different skills, and you want to have a higher level way to pick which skills should actually give a response to you, you can build something called intent catcher. And you can get this intent catcher in such a way that you don't have to enter a lot of information to it. So this is our intent catcher thing. This is an admin application to intent catcher, and its developer, Alexander Dmitrievsky, he's actually with us, so you can ask him questions. It works with our intent catcher component, which itself is written by another member of our team. And what can you do in it? You obviously add intents to the system. Let me show you how it works in a big thing. I can actually show in our demo. I don't have to go to the big thing. So we actually have intent catcher here. The source, it has a server, lots of different things, but in the end, it just have one API endpoint called detect, and for each sentence, it tries to provide a response of which kind of intent was detected. Let's go to Postman. And let me show you the demo. I think it should be in this Postman. Yeah, that's the demo. So detect, and let's ask a question like, what can you do? You send it here. And we can see the response. For simplicity, I will open a handy tool called Notepad++. And we can see that this is a number of intents the system has. And what can you do is actually confidence 1.0. Wow, we are happy, we're lucky, and it's detected 1.0. But the interesting thing is how you actually can define those intents. This is the question. So for those intents, we create a set of phrases. We create for each intent, we can give lots of examples, and those examples look a lot like just phrases you would add to regular expression-based intent detector. Actually, it's like the one we used in our goal-oriented skill. Indeed, a very simple goal-oriented intent classifier could use regular expressions to detect what people say. But our intent catcher works a little bit differently. It has two levels. At first, you have to add intents to it, and you have to give examples. But at the second stage, the system generates a model of all the intents based on those things you've inputted. And it uses those regular expressions to expand all those examples into a larger training data set that it can use to build a high quality intent classifier. And then in the end, you get a high quality intent classifier than if you would use one built on regular expressions only. And you don't have to input as many examples as you would have to add to, for example, Rasa intent classifier, or to Alexa, or to Google, or to others. Alexa, shut up. And we have a web tool. It's currently in development. And like right now, you can go to any of those intents or add a new one. And I really hope, yeah. And you can add examples to it. It can be simple examples, or they can use regular expressions. Actually picked the wrong thing. This is the class for the rest of the phrases, like who made you. And when you add new components to the system, you will be able to have a button to train. You train in the end, you will be able to have a button to train. You train the model, and then the model will be added to your system. And then when you rebuild intent catcher using Docker Compose, stop intent catcher, Docker Compose, build intent catcher, Docker Compose, up intent catcher, you will get the updated model. You obviously can do that in your command line or in your text editor, be it Notepad++ or MC Edit or Nano or Vim or V or whatever you want. But there is one benefit from this tool. In it, when you add new items to it, it will have validation. So if the phrase examples were not validated, it would not allow you to save the model, save the data set, and it will not allow you to generate a new model. So this is something we believe will be really, really useful for you guys moving forward. And we'll make it available as an integration into Gobot as well. So it will enable you to simplify the process of adding new intents to Gobot for your goal-oriented skills.
Sorry, a simple question.
Go ahead.
Probably too simple. How does it train? You give it an example of phrases of intent, but basically then you have to give them an example of phrases that is not this intent. So it has like 0 and 1 labels, or it doesn't work, or it's actually, what's the way it trains to recognize intent, or it has some kind of vector similarity to the phrases that you provided.
I think maybe Sasha could give an example, but on a very high level, we have a class for each intent. And we also have an intent called random phrases, which allows us to cut out all cases which don't belong to any of the intents we want to interact with. And we added a lot of different phrases to the system. As you can see, it's a really huge list that allows you to tell the system that those are examples that should not be seen as any of the intents in the system. If it makes sense, great. If not,
okay. I just didn't see the phrases that are not your intent, and because for a neural network, anything to train any system, whatever it is, you have to provide two kind of labels, and ideally in the same proportion. I mean, roughly.
Yes. Yeah, that's precisely true. Okay, I think I'm actually more or less done with demos for today. I've showed more than I expected in the beginning. We actually seen a debugging process in action, a live demo. Thank you very much for keeping with me, and thank you very much for supporting me. Now, we have several folks from the team available here, just a handful. We have Oleg, who is working on Gobot, our goal-oriented framework. We have Sasha Dmitrievsky, who is building this web user interface for working with intent catcher. And we also have Fedor Ignatov, who is leading our DeepPavlov library and agent and Dream development from software engineering perspective. So feel free to ask questions to all of them. Oh, also, we obviously have Mikhail Burtsev, who is head of lab, and Vasily, who is working lots of education efforts for the lab. So feel free to ask questions. We'll be happy to answer them. you may also share what you're building and how do you see that DeepPavlov technology could help you. I think the pre-doc tech, I don't know your actual name, but you had a couple of good questions last time at our first community call. So I think it was something related to hospitals. Olga, if you want to say something, go ahead. Enable the microphone. Folks, don't be shy. But anyways, we also have a Telegram group where you can come and join us and get the links. Most of the demos you can see, they are already available at our GitHub. Let me show an example. DeepMeep. We have this repository called DP Dream Demos. It has several branches. And forgive my computer for being slow. So it has several branches. The main one is a very simple demo, the first one that was built by Vasily. And the second one called demos/Moonbase A.I demo was the demo we showed at our first community call. You can pick it and download it and play with it. We will also have a tutorial. I will be happy to share it with you in our blog. It has those two first components. If you want to play with intent catcher and other things, we have another thing, factoid stand, but be assured that factoid thing is not yet available for you folks. It's still linking to internal components, so to play with factoid, you will have to wait a little bit more. However, here you can see a few more annotators. You can see intent catcher. We just talked about it. And we have entity linking. I'm not by the way 100% sure if it will work on its own. Fedya, dear Fedya, tell me please.
Yes.
Does entity linking in this repository actually will work for others, or if people actually have to wait for entity linking to be available separately, or do they have to deal with it on their own?
No, entity linking in this repository doesn't need any internal DeepPavlov services. Anyone could use this skill.
Annotator. Cool. I have just one question. How much memory do people need to run entity linking?
I can't tell exact size, but it's not as big as Wikidata. It's about 5 gigabytes of RAM or something similar.
Okay, so I hope that you will be able to try it out.
It definitely runs with 6.
Right.
I assigned it, but I had to assign it in the Docker. In the Docker, you can kind of allocate resources. So allocate 6 gigabytes and it runs. If I don't do anything, like it stays at 2 gigabytes, it doesn't actually up. It doesn't up.
It doesn't get.
It stops right. at some point and just does nothing after this point. Yeah.
Okay, so you will need like 6 gigabytes of RAM to run the entire build, I think. Not just entity linking, but the entire build.
Yeah, well, the whole thing.
Yeah. So, folks, you have this this repository. You can play with it a little bit. You can safely play with entity linking and with intent catcher. And this tool for intent catcher, Sasha.
Oh. Yep.
Did you manage to add those buttons or not yet for uploading and downloading things?
Currently, exporting of intent phrase JSON is working. You see, here is export to JSON button. It should work.
But there is no input, right?
No, yet. We need to implement file storage on the server and need a little bit more time.
And as far as I know,
if the export works as separate page, if it's not okay, I think we'll add dialog for saving.
I think we can go with this thing for the time being, but obviously at some point it will be dialog. In a bigger system, we will also later show an example how you could combine this tool with your continuous integration, continuous deployment process, where you won't have to import and export JSON. But for experiments, we will have this tool up and running. It's absolutely unsupported at this moment. But you will be able to experiment with intent catcher and play with it in your system. I feel really nervous and humble about this stuff, but it's going to be cool. Okay, folks, if you don't have any more questions, feel free to join us next time in next community call in December. We will probably move it a little bit. Yeah, Oleg, you can use the link to experiment with intent catcher to play with this system. For now, I just ask you, don't change existing intents, add your own ones for the time being. Again, this is an experimental tool. It's very much in the infancy, so be kind, be gentle. This is the URL. There will be 2 workshops, as I said before, but they will not be that.
We need to mention that if you want to play with this tool, you need user and password.
Right.
User is then, and password is then, 3 times.
Oh my God! By the way, how? Maybe we can. Maybe you can just enable self-registration for people.
I'm not sure. No, this requires manual adding. Not very fast.
Okay, I think we can do that for now. So then. That's how we can experiment with it right now. That's a very complex password. And I'm pretty sure it has something to say about it.
Especially for public actions.
I have much simpler password, but you know it already
works.
Okay, just don't put it here. Just don't tell it to us. Okay, so I think it's about it for today. I really hope that you enjoyed our today's conversation.
Sure.
I'm very glad that we've seen more faces today. It's cool. Oleg and Alexei, thank you very much. And Oleg, Oleg, yes, you buddy. I'm very happy to see you here too, as your real face. That's really cool. Feel free to ask questions offline. You have forums, you have Telegram group. Some of you know me on Facebook. You can try to annoy me there. I will obviously move conversation to Telegram or something like that, but feel free to do that, and I will be really happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time.